Hello everyone, I'm Siddharthan. In this video, let's understand how we can start and access an EC2 instance in AWS. So first, we will select a EC2 instance based on the resource and try to access this via a Windows machine using RDP or Remote Desktop Protocol. So this will be the agenda for today's video and let's get started. So first you need to go to your AWS console and select appropriate region. So here I have Mumbai, which is Asia Pacific. So in the search bar, you can just search for EC2 and you will see this option for EC2. So EC2 is an amazing resource when you want to deploy some application on cloud, specifically in AWS. So let's understand this. So once you're in this resources, you can click on this launch instance. So this is the one that we will use in order to launch this instance after selecting like few configuration. So I'll click on this launch instance, and first we need to name this. So I'll name this as EC2 getting started. So you can give any name of your choice. Maybe you can just name this using the project of which you are working on. So let's say if you are working in a company, you may have to create this instance and work on it. And maybe for some personal use also, you may think that you need a larger machine that you want to access. So in that case also, you can go with this. So I'll name this as EC2 getting started. And the next thing is you can select the OS that you want, whether you want Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, or so on. So here I'll select Windows. Maybe for Linux, I'll make a separate video. But when it comes to deployment and the other important stuff, Linux is used and even Ubuntu is used so that you can access the instance via a terminal using SSH and so on. Windows, you can kind of access this via a graphic user interface with this RDP. So let's just focus on that particular process for now. Later, let's understand about Linux and Ubuntu. So here I'll click on Microsoft Windows, and in this versions itself, like you have like different variations. So I'm just going with the free tier eligible one, which is this Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base. So all these are server images, and you also have this SQL versions and so on. So I'll just use this first one, which is this Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base, and you have this architecture, which is 64-bit and so on. And in the instance type, you can choose like what's the instance that you want. So here you will see this details about the virtual CPUs, memory details, and other aspects, and also what's the cost. So this free tier eligible one is T2.micro, which has one vCPU, 1 gigabyte memory, and so on, which is a smaller machine because this is like kind of free for the first tier when you use AWS. And then you have T2 micro, and then like we also have like the other variation. So you have T2 medium that has 4 gigabytes memory and so on. And if you scroll below, you will see this GPU instance and so on that would start with P and G names. So I'll just scroll below and show this to you. So those are like GPU optimized machines. I can just search for G 5 or something. So here, this is one example. So we have G5 48X large that has like 768 gigabytes memory. So the in this case, the GPU is about 190 GB or something. So these are like large machines and so on. But let's just go with the minimum version possible, which is T2 micro that has vCPU, 1 GB memory and so on. So if you want to, detailedly look at the specification of the instance that you are choosing, you can just go to Google and search for that particular stuff. So let's say that this is a T2 micro, right? So let's say that we want to understand the specification of T3 medium machine. So for that, you can just search T2.micro in AWS. So you can search this, and we have like several sites. This Vantage Cloud is actually like a good thing in order to look at the various specification as well. So it's like populated properly. So we have the vCPU details, memory in GB. So this is T2 micro, but you can choose the other version. So we were looking at a different one, right? So I can say, okay, I've given T2 micro. Let me put this as T2 large in AWS. So we have T2 large pricing. So we have a vCPU of two virtual CPUs. We have 8 GB memory, and basically all those details, processor details, and so on. And we also have the pricing. So pricing can be a bit off, maybe slightly different, but always look for the pricing in the official AWS site. So this is like a third party where you can look at the specifications alone. So this is how we can do that. I'll close this one and choose this T2 micro thing, and then you need a key pair in order to log in to this. So here you can, if you have a key pair already, you can select this, but you need to have that file, or else you can create a new key value pair. So you can choose this RSA. You can name this as EC2 key. So we can use the .pem. So you will get a PIM file, which we will kind of use in order to decrypt the password for accessing this EC2 instance. And you also have this putty version, where putty is kind of like an application in which you need to use it in order to access this EC2. But we can use the simplest one, which is this .pem. So you can name this key with this any name. So I'm naming this as EC2 key, choosing this RSA because like that's the one only encryption that I have for this, and I'm using this .pem. Then create a key pair. So this will download a file. So keep this file safe. So I'll copy this EC2 key and I'll probably paste it in my desktop. I'll maybe show you the content of the file. So this is how this would look like. I'll open this with my notepad. So you would basically have a private key and so on. So you actually I shouldn't share this with anyone. So I'm just like wanted to show you how this would look like. So I'll come back here. So I've created my key and I've selected the key as well, which is this EC2 key, and we have downloaded the .pem. So this .pem file is very important. And then we have the network details. So we have the virtual private cloud, so VPC, subnets, and so on. So these details are important in order to restrict the access to your EC2, like which ports are open, so that the user can, let's say, access a particular website that you have hosted on your EC2. And you have this RDP portal, right? So RDP is that remote desktop protocol that we will use in order to connect to this EC2 from our machine, from our local machine. So here it says anywhere. That means like any IP address, if they have the RDP file, the remote desktop protocol file, they can access it. You can also click on that drop down. You can choose your IP. So when you click on that, you will also see your particular local machine's IP. So you can select that. That means only when you access it from that particular IP from that machine, you can access this. Or when you say anywhere, anyone can access this. Or let's say that there are three people in the team, you don't want anyone else to access this, you can put all those three people's IP address here and they can access this. And then we have the allow HTTPS traffic from the internet. So when you, let's say, deploy web application and so on, whether you want to give this internet access to this and so on. So we have all those details. And let's say you have deployed a web application in a particular port, some port, let's say 8080 or something. You need to go to the VPC security details and so on. You need to open up that port. Maybe all those for different aspect, but I just wanted to give an overview of the network settings. So all those comes in that settings, where we would update this network, subnet, and all those things. And then we have the size. So here it says 30 GB of storage. So it is like a general purpose SSD and so on. So you can also choose like a different one and then increase the size you want, 300, 500, or like whatever we want. But this comes under this free tier eligible of 30 GB. So for just this tutorial purpose, we can just go with the minimum versions. So if you want, you can also add a new volume as in kind of a new disk to this and launch an instance. So you can leave this advanced details if you don't want to add any, but you can just like go through this ones. But for this purpose, we don't need this for now. We can leave this as such. You will see all those details here. So after that, we can launch this instance. So this particular one won't cost you uh, for I mean, so let's say you have created this AWS for 1 year. When you use T2 Micro, T2 Micro instance is not kind of chargeable. It's kind of free for this 750 hours when it's kind of that. So yeah, that's about the free tier option. We have the volumes and so on. So once all these things are set, mainly the main thing that you have to do is like select the OS, select the instance type, get a key value pair and so on, and then you can launch your instance. And you may also get some errors. Let's say you are working in a company, you may get some errors in creating this because your account administrator may not have given you some permissions, let's say in order to create a key pair, or not even the permission to create a EC2. So you need to connect with them, make sure that your account has all those permissions and so on. So now we have successfully initiated this. You can connect to your instance by clicking on this connect to instance, or you can also come back to this instances and look at the state. So it says the instance state, it's running, right? So it means like it's up and running. So you can click on this instance ID. So now let's say that you have again logging into AWS after some time, clicking on this EC2. So you'll see this in recently viewed, or you can also search for EC2. And in this, you can go to this instances running or the overall instances as well. So here the tag is running. So we will see the running machines. When it's running, it's going to kind of get charged. So it's like zero point 0.0 some dollars per hour. So whenever it's running. So I'll click on this instance ID and I have this connect option. So here you will see like all the details of this particular EC2 instance. So here I'll click on this connect option. And we have the session manager, RDP client, EC2 serial console, and so on. So here I'm accessing this using a Windows machine. So I can go with a remote desktop protocol. So that is like one of the easiest way. So we are saying that connect using RDP client, and here we can download the remote desktop file. So this will download this RDP file and you can open this. So we can connect to this and it will ask for the permission and so on. So sorry, the password. So for password, so the username is this administrator, or you can also choose a different one. So here the administrator, that username is already populated. We need to get the password. So I'll click on get password. So here we need to upload the .pem file, the .pem file that we have downloaded in order to decrypt the password. So in this, I'll maybe show this to you again. So click on that connect option, download the RDP client. I'll close the previous one maybe. Okay, so click on the download remote desktop file. So open this. And once that has been opened, click on connect. So our username is administrator, as you can see, which is already populated here. And the password we need to decrypt. So click on get password. Go to this upload private key file. So the key name is EC2-key. And I have that in my desktop. So I'll click on this EC2-key.pem. So I have my private key content here. Now I can click on decrypt password. So this will have my password over here. So this is the decrypted password. So I have to copy this and paste it over here and click on OK and say yes. So this will open the Windows machine that you're seeing. So we see this administrator. So this is running the installations and so on. So let's wait for this in order to kind of go into the machine. Yeah, so we have this 8 ATM and all those details. So we have Microsoft Edge and so on. So this machine is like kind of slightly slower because this only has like about 1 GB of memory, and this is like a very small instance. So this would be a bit slower. You can just click on yes here. So for network allowance and thing. So I'll click on this Microsoft Edge, so it will open Edge and so on. So you can install Python and other things that you're working on, and basically all those stuffs that you're doing. But this is the overall approach. So this is how you can create an instance, EC2 instance in AWS, and with all those configurations, OS details, and so on. And this is how you can log into this via a remote desktop portal. So I hope everything is clear, and please try this out if you can. So let's say if you're asked to create a EC2 instance, or even let's say you just wanted to, just want to try how to do this, you can kind of try this one. So this is not going to cost you much because of, uh, you know as this is like a free tier one, so you can do that. So you can install the softwares and other applications that you need, and you can work on it. So other important aspect is we need to shut down this instance. So once you're like worked with this, you can just close this from here and just say close this one, and then come back to these instances, click on this EC2 thing, click on instance state, and you can stop your instance. So when you stop your instance, it won't charge you as much it would charge when it's running, but still there are some cost involved in it. So if you don't want to incur any cost, you need to click on terminate or delete instance. So this is like very important. So then only like this instance won't be running and you won't be charged for that. So click on terminate and delete instance. Just closing the RDP thing won't kind of stop the instance. It's just that you are kind of closing your session, but you must terminate the session. So sorry, terminate the instance. So I'll go to this instance state and terminate and delete the instance. So when you stop the instance, all the changes that you made within this instance will still be there. So the files that you have downloaded, softwares that you have installed, all those things will be there. But when you terminate or delete the instance, it's all gone. So you can't like kind of retrieve this back. You can take a snapshot, but yeah, when you terminate this, like everything is kind of gone. So click on this terminate and delete the instance. So make sure that you are cleaning up all the resources after it's done. So that's like a very important aspect. So yeah, so those are the checklists that you have to make sure, so that like you're not charged for something that you don't need, right? So we don't want to get charged for the resources that's basically idle. So we need to keep all these things in mind. So that is all from me, and maybe let's discuss a different topic in the next video. Bye.